Hello, my name is Kiriath, and welcome back for another edition of Kiri Loses His Mind Over How Much He Likes Tyranids now. I'm just guessing. I was so blown away, like genuinely blown away and so hyped, for an army that I don't even play, that I have the least experience of I think, any force, really. I don't think I've really looked into Tyranids at all, and yet, to say that Games Workshop made them pass my test, which is, from Robot Wars, style, speed, control, and aggression. It's not really that. It's just, does this make me want to start an army of Tyranids right this minute? Yes, it absolutely achieved that. Reading the stuff yesterday, as someone who is not a Tyranids player, I was reading it, and all of it just fit. The adaptations seemed to fit. I really like the different abilities that he talked about. There's been a little bit of information here and there, a little bit of leakage going on, as often there is, talking about stuff like Carnifexes and how much customization there is. The amount of customization for Carnifexes is absolutely mental, and I saw numerous people losing their shit over the excitement of having the Screamer Killer back, which, I'll take your word for it, but people seem pretty damn happy, and the name Screamer Killer just sounds quality to me. But yeah, so many different adaptations and war gear options, and I'll be honest, the customization alone is kind of making my Primaris liking side a little bit sad, because Primaris seem to get just naff all in terms of customization, especially for HQ and stuff. They just don't get any of that shit. I looked at a thing for Carnifexes. It was something that someone had written out, and they could just swap out everything and anything. You do whatever the hell you like with them. Put anything you like on them, basically. And I was reading it, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Wait, that's one unit? You can have multiple of it? Oh, it's just, the temptation is getting overwhelming. So, what we're going to do, I've just been rambling. I didn't even say what we're going to do. We're going to look at the stratagems this time. So we're going to look at the stratagem previews. Obviously, there would be more than just these in the Codex. But, yeah, we're going to take a look, see what we think, see if the excitement continues unabated, or whether I'm like, not so much. I doubt that's going to happen. They've absolutely sold me with this. It's bad. It's real bad. I cannot do Imperial Guard and Tyranid. Let's go Gene Stealer Cults and get a bit of both. No, let's get on with it. Oh my god. Okay, so Tyranid Stratagem, 1 command point, Feeder Tendrils. I read that all in the wrong order, and I don't know why. Feeder Tendrils drain the victim's skull, siphoning vital knowledge and memories with every scrap of brain matter. I'm getting Starship Troopers flashbacks. Use this stratagem when a Gene Stealer, Lictor, Toxicrene, or Venom Throat from your army kills a character in the fight phase. Gain D3 command points. Okay, I'm already like, I had a moment there where I was like, if it failed, you'd lose a command point. You just, no, you wouldn't lose a command point. The worst that could happen with that particular stratagem, is that nothing happens. You'd still get at least that 1 command point back. There's literally no risk to that. It's not a risk reward thing. It's just you might get more, or you might get it for free. I'll take it, especially since it's just, I'm loving the Starship Troopers memories now. I'm absolutely loving it. Quality. So there you go, free stratagem to start out with, nice. Another 1 command point, Psychic Barrage. By channeling the power of the Shadow in the Warp, Tyranid Psycho Beasts can obliterate the minds of their prey. Solid. Use this stratagem in your Psychic phase of a Zoanthropes unit from your army consisting of at least 3 models within 6 inches of 2 other such units. If you do so, the Zoanthropes cannot take any Psychic test this phase. Instead, select a point on the battlefield within 18 inches of and visible to all 3 units. Christ, it's getting complicated. Roll a dice for each unit, friend or foe, within 3 inches of that point. Add 1 to the result if the unit being rolled for has 10 or more models, but subtract 1 if the unit being rolled for is a character. Hang on, I'm starting to glaze over. On a 4+, that unit suffers 3d3 mortal wounds. Right, okay. Okay, so of all of the stratagems that I've seen for previews and stuff, I think that might be the most convoluted one that I think I've set eyes on so far. I think that might be the one that that genuinely caused my eyes to unfocus as I was reading it. Let's just do this just one more time. So it's 1 command point, unit of zoanthropes. It needs to have at least 3 models, right? It has to be within 6 inches of 2 other such units. So that would suggest that it would require 2 other units of 3 zoanthropes. So 9 in total, split into 3 groups of 3. Okay. If you do it, you don't take any psychic... No, you can't take any psychic tests this phase. I'm assuming this only applies to the 1 unit of zoanthropes, or is it all 3 units? I mean, actually, it just says zoanthropes, so presumably that means it's all 3 units of 3 zoanthropes can't take any psychic tests this phase. Instead, select a point on the battlefield within 18 inches of and visible to all 3 units. That actually wouldn't be too difficult because you'd have them all clumped up. If they've got to be within 6 inches to even use it, they would be clumped anyway, so that's fine, whatever. Roll a dice for each unit, friend or foe, within 3 inches of that point. Add 1 to the result if the unit being rolled for is 10 more models, but subtract 1 if the unit being rolled for is a character. On a 4+, that unit suffers 3d3 mortal wounds. Okay, alright. This is a weird one. I'm going to be honest, this feels weird. It's only 1 command point, so it's super cheap. That's good, we like super cheap. It does have a I think a decent potential for some cool damage. I mean it's a 50-50, basically. And 3d3 mortal wounds isn't terrible. And it's add 1 to the result if the unit being rolled for a 10 or more models. So you could use it. Could that be potentially a nice way to get rid of some elite infantry? I don't know. That seems kind of overly complex. A little bit tricky to just pick up on the fly. I'm pretty sure I'm right with the idea that you'd need, 3 units of 3 to make this stratagem work. I'm pretty sure that's what that's saying. Obviously, let me know in the comments if you disagree. And as it says, if you do so, the zoanthropes cannot take any psychic tests this phase. For me, there's 2 ways to read that. Either it's all the zoanthropes that you have that are involved in this, so within 6 inches of 2 of the others, or it's only 1 zoanthrope unit that you select. If it's only the one that you select, then that makes it a little bit different, because that kind of cheapens the cost again, because you can still use the other units to take psychic tests. If it's all of them, that changes it a little bit. I'm not sure. I will leave it up to you. Comments. I will leave it up to you as to whether you think that's decent or not. I think I'm still trying to get my head around it, if I'm honest. It's not just me, is it? That seems a little bit convoluted in a way. Might just be me. Let me know. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Pathogenic slime. 2 command points. Biological ammunition is often doused. I nearly said abused. Tyranid biological ammunition is often doused in a pathogenic mucus, which seeps into wounds and devours flesh. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase. Select a Tyranid monster from your army. Increase the damage of its attacks by 1 for this phase. Nice and simple. That... the pathogenic slime compared to psychic barrage, I'll be honest, I'm so glad that's nice and simple, because my brain was melting. So yeah, I mean, 2 command points, nice and easy, nice and simple, just increase damage of attacks by 1. Fine, I'll take it. Not particularly sort of complicated or funky, but it's 2 command points for guaranteed more damage, basically, provided you actually hit, obviously. I know I kind of qualified that you need to roll the dice properly for these things to work, but I remember when we did the stuff about the Death Guard, and I was losing my mind over the sheer number of mortal wounds, and someone was like, you make it out like there's a load of mortal wounds. That wasn't the intention. Everything within 40k, aside from your basic movement, is kind of up in the air, isn't it? When it comes to abilities, when it comes to actual fighting, it all comes down to dice rolls. So, whilst you could look like you've got a shed ton of mortal wounds, you could fail every single roll and end up killing nothing. Or alternatively, you could ace every single roll and mangle a load of dudes. It's the same thing with this. It's like, it does increase the damage of its attacks by 1 for that phase, which is awesome. But you've still got to hit the attacks, obviously. So I'm just clarifying that just in case there's any of the... also, if anyone news watching who doesn't have a huge idea as to how 40k works on the tabletop, it's very easy to kind of go, oh, that makes it brilliant. It's like, it is good, but it's also entirely reliant on luck. So, Something to bear in mind. Hypertoxicity. There is no defense against the toxins of Hive Fleet Gorgon. So 1 command point, Gorgon only stratagem. Use the stratagem in the fight phase. Choose a Gorgon unit from your army that has the Toxin Sacs biomorph. For the duration of the phase, the Toxin Sacs biomorph causes 1 additional damage on wound rolls of 5+, rather than 6+ for attacks made by that unit. Again, nice and simple, nice and easy. Flat buff. Excellent. Liking it. Easy to comprehend. Okay, the deepest shadow. Again, 1 command point. Around the swarms of Hive Fleet Chronos, the shadow in the warp is at its most suffocatingly powerful. It's obviously a Chronos Stratagem. Use this stratagem when an enemy Psyker attempts to manifest a Psychic power within 24 inches of a Chronos unit from your army. Your opponent can only roll a single dice for the Psychic test. I really like that one. I have to admit, I'm a fan. I like that. That seems like a harsh thing to spring on someone, doesn't it? Oh, you want to do that, do you? 1 dice. Piss off. Harsh. Especially since it's just within 24 inches of a Chronos unit. It's not even a Chronos Psyker, it's just a Chronos unit. So, even one of your little Gribblies, if he's close enough, can cause that. Nice. Nice. And finally, Caustic Blood. Oh, here we go. There's a bit of flavour up there that's actually interesting. Making a 30-strong block of termagants an even less appealing prospect to fight. Gives them a devastating send-off. So, Caustic Blood, 1 command point again. Tyranid stratagem, so there's no limitation on which Hive Fleet. Even the act of slaying a Tyranid can prove fatal, as its corpse spews corrosive ichor capable of eating through power armour. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select a Tyranid unit from your army. Roll a dice whenever a model in that unit is destroyed in this phase. For each roll of 6, the enemy unit that inflicted the final wound on that model suffers a mortal wound after all of their attacks have been resolved. Again, I like it. Yeah, that's it. I know Tyranids obviously have had their influences from various things, but I'm loving the kind of brilliant mix of stuff from Alien, Starship Troopers, and God knows what else that goes on with this stuff. And the chance to just lob a mortal wound at someone just because one of your little monsters dies, I'll take that all day. That's quality. The only one I'm really not sure about is Psychic Barrage, just because there's a lot to take in there, and I'm sure I probably misinterpreted some part of it. That's entirely possible. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you think about that one. I think the others, they're mostly cheap. Pretty much every single one of them has been 1 command point. We've had only one that's 2 command points, in fact. But honestly, they seem decent enough. For 1 command point, you're getting, either a flat buff, you're getting a bit of denying Psyker attempts, all of that stuff. Yeah, this seems pretty decent. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. It's not doing anything to make me not want more Tyranids, if I'm honest. Could still do with some. So, well done, Games Workshop. You may have accidentally made me spend even more money on your products. God damn it, as if it wasn't easy enough to begin with. What do you reckon then? What do you think of these preview stratagems? Good? Bad? Is Psychic Barrage actually a lot more simple than I'm making it? Or is it actually a little bit, not weird, but just kind of complex for 1 command point? Let me know in the comments below. And obviously, are you loving the Tyranid stuff as a whole, like I am? Again, you're a Tyranid player, and you're looking at this going, oh my god, finally my army's back. Be interested to hear what you think. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you like it. As always, there's a bunch of stuff to click all over the screen. There's a Patreon thing, a subscribe thing, and 2 videos. Click on any or all of them. It's entirely up to you. And I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.